how you come to be here.
Well, my name is John Mathis, and I'm called Brother John Mathis because I belong to a group of people called St. Stephen's Company, and we are working out an attempt in this time of how to work out what is called the religious life. That is a disciplined life that involves our whole approach to things, and it is a religious occupation. And I come from Washington, D.C., and I belong to the parish of St. Stephen and the Incarnation. This is the place where the Atlantic Life community lives when they come to witness at the Pentagon, and have done so for a number of years. So I have known all of these people, have been arrested myself with some of them, and it is our custom and belief that we will support a brother or sister who has made a statement like the plowshare.
Tom, you want me to get down front so he faces the camera more? Is this okay? It's fine, okay. John, we were having a little discussion in the coffee house not long ago, and you mentioned that you had at one time been a Marine during the Second World War and had a very powerful experience at that time. I wonder if you could tell us about that as historically and precisely as you can.
Yes, sure. Shortly after Pearl Harbor, I enlisted as a Marine. I was 17 years old, and really believing in all that was going on, i.e. that it was my duty to go and defend the country against the perfidious Japanese, and I did so. While one of the places I was sent was the island well known as Guadalcanal. In that experience, I was there for almost 6 months, but in that experience at one time I fired my rifle to the top of a palm tree to stop a sniper. The man fell out of the tree and died really in my arms. And he was another young person just like myself. And as his life left, and to sit and watch this, all of the things, I'd always been raised in a church-going family, all of it began the madness of this kind of killing, the disbelief that there can be such a thing as legal murder, but because I was wearing a uniform, it just blew up. And since that time, and in every possible way that I can, I would describe myself as a pacifist, an activist against war, and in these latter days, now that the nuclear position has come to the point where it is, I feel that I must, if I have any position or any understanding of the gospel, that I must stand and witness against that kind of killing and that kind of war.
You also mentioned when we were having our previous discussion that you had witnessed some of the survivors of Hiroshima.
Yes.
And I wonder if you could maybe describe that experience.
Yes. I was serving in Boston. I was teaching school at that time. And in our parish church, a group of women who were survivors of Hiroshima came for cosmetic surgery at Massachusetts General Hospital. On that Sunday, one of the people who had brought them was a priest of that order and brought them to the church to go to the Eucharist. And as I came in, I saw 10, 15 young women in kimono, but it wasn't until the impact of the particular and peculiar and horrible disfigurement of their face and their hands hit that you realized that it isn't just killing, it is just a complete distortion of life. And what was it to be? How could you how can we do this to each other in any way? It sets a whole thing going, and the memory of it still sets those questions that I feel really haven't gotten an answer going in my mind. How we can do this.
Well, you say you don't really know how we can head things off.
But as human beings to other human beings, that our distortion of human understanding, so that property and territory and empire and money and all of those things stand over our relationship as human beings, it becomes very difficult for me to understand in any way. And the same, that carries on in the same way to how we treat minorities, how we treat each other, how families go apart, how the whole streets look in times. That the least important thing is the relationship of one human being to another. And to my mind, it is the only important thing. And that's how I see that from the gospel. That is as essentially getting a grasp of that is the beginning of what Jesus came to teach us.
If Jesus were alive today, what do you think he would be doing in terms of the nuclear issues?
Well, I suspect that we would have the Plowshare 9 for one. And if Jesus were alive today, I suspect that we would have a Plowshare 9. Most probably he would not know what to do in any of our institutional churches, including the one that I serve, that I would find him on the streets, that I would find him on the Bowery for New Yorkers, on 14th Street for District of... I don't know this town well enough to tell you where I would find him, but I don't think I would find him in the courthouse unless he were a defendant.
Do you have any hope in terms of this trial and in terms of the protest that's been manifest here?
Well, hope, yes, I do. I am hopeful that the work, that what is attempting will be spread, that knowledge of it, that people will pick it up and begin really to think of their own responsibility. And I think that is happening. I think responsible media have a tremendous amount to do with this. And I think ultimately that what we're dealing with in the witness is almost what we used to know as the remnant in Israel, that there were yet some just persons who could stand, and that this, if we really believe that God is our creator, that there is a redeemer and an advocate for us, that we are in tune with our universe, and that this is truly the power, that what we're talking about is just a whole false way of looking at the purpose of creation. Yes, it is strong. True, I don't know, how the scenario is going to work out. But what I do know and do understand is that in standing, in witnessing, and working, and in disobedience to a lesser law, is very much in harmony with what the gospel tells us to do, and from my own heart and in my own conviction that I am standing somehow in a closer relationship to the Creator. So yes, I have hope.
John, is it possible for one who is not a Christian to be witnessing and serving as you are serving now?
Oh, yes. Yeah, my! Of course it is. It is in that sense, the only necessity is to be a human being. Very close to where I work in Washington, D.C., are a group of peace monks who are a specific Buddhist group that gathered that were founded in Japan after the Hiroshima explosion. And their work is to witness always for peace. We are in total accord with each other. Then there are those who are of, I know of Indians who are of what we loosely call Hindic backgrounds, for whom this is a total witness. There are those who could be whatever we are. Our Jewish friends who come and stand with us and bear with our external Christianity because they want to be there to do that worshiping. It is simply that I keep referring to the gospel because that is where I have my particular road up the mountain. But yes, all the roads go up the mountain. And to join in this is simply to be born. Thank you. Ooh, that's
That's it, Tom. Unless you have any other questions. Well, that's pretty good. Thank you, Brother John. I don't know who Jay Lipton is.